In the deep wilderness of Alaska, way past where paved roads turn to dirt and the dirt gives way to an eerie silence, there sits an old green bus. Its paint is all faded, the windows are shattered, and the engine, well, that's long gone. On the side, you can still make out the number 142, though it's barely visible now. To adventurous hikers and curious travelers, it's lovingly known as the Magic Bus, but for many others, it became a haunting grave. The boy who lost his life there was Christopher McCandless, but when he ventured into the wilds of Alaska, he was going by the name Alexander Supertramp, chasing a dream of freedom and adventure. It's a story that pulls at your heartstrings, right? In April of 1992, Chris stepped into the wild, carrying almost nothing, just a bag of rice, a rifle, a few books, a map that barely covered the terrain, and a stubborn dream to live completely free from society. No money, no rules, no noise. Just nature, solitude, and truth. Sounds like a dream, right? At just 24 years old, Chris was on this incredible quest for something real, something that would light a fire in his soul. But to really understand how he ended up in that old bus, we've got to take a step back. Chris wasn't just some aimless wanderer. He came from a well-off family in Virginia. He was smart, well-read, and graduated with honors from Emory University. But beneath that polished exterior, there was this growing restlessness, a feeling that something huge was missing in his life. He was on the hunt for meaning, and the wild called to him like a siren, promising adventure and freedom. He felt like society had corrupted everything, that wealth, greed, and all that comfort had made people blind to what real living is all about. Chris was obsessed with writers like Thoreau, Tolstoy, and Jack London. Those guys who really dug deep into simplicity and the raw beauty of nature. So, right after graduation, Chris decided to vanish. He gave away all his savings, about $24,000, to charity, burned the cash left in his wallet, ditched his car, and just started hitchhiking across America. Can you imagine that? No phone, no address, no plan. Just pure, unfiltered freedom. He wandered for 2 whole years, you know? Working odd jobs here and there, sleeping under bridges, and just living off pure instinct and a sense of freedom that most people only dream about. Imagine crossing deserts, canyons, rivers, and highways. It's like something out of a movie. Finally, he thought he'd found the ultimate frontier, Alaska. In April 1992, a truck driver named Jim Galeen picked him up near Fairbanks. He said Chris was polite, but had this intense vibe about him, like he was on a mission. When Chris told him he was heading into the bush to live off the land, Galeen couldn't help but worrying. He tried to talk him out of it, saying the wild wasn't too forgiving and that he didn't have nearly enough gear, not even a compass. But Chris just smiled, all confident, and said, "I'll be fine." Can you believe that? Galeen dropped him off at the Stampede Trail, where an old mining route led deep into the wilderness. Chris waved goodbye, crossed the Teclanica River, and just vanished into the trees, ready to chase his wild dreams. It was the start of something incredible. 2 weeks later, Chris stumbled upon an old Fairbanks city transit bus, Bus 142. It had been left there years earlier by workers hauling supplies to a nearby mine. For him, it was like finding a hidden treasure, a cozy shelter, a slice of solitude, and a little haven to call home. He unpacked his small collection of gear, which included a few essentials and his beloved books, and started writing in his journal. His first entry read, Day 1. My great adventure has begun. For months, Chris immersed himself in the wild, hunting small game like squirrels and rabbits, foraging for wild plants, and soaking up the beauty around him. He poured his thoughts into his journal, where his entries brimmed with hope and excitement. He described the land as pure, beautiful, and cleansing, capturing the essence of his dream life, a life where he was truly free, living in harmony with nature. It was everything he had ever imagined, right? But slowly, the tone changed. The wilderness wasn't a romantic novel. It was merciless. His rifle could only bring down squirrels and the occasional bird. He was losing weight. Food became harder to find. The weather turned harsh. By July, he decided to head back to civilization. He packed his things and hiked toward the river, but when he got there, it was unrecognizable. The Teclanica River, which he had crossed easily in spring, had become a raging torrent of glacier melt. Impassable. No bridge. No way around. He was trapped. So Chris returned to the bus, weak and desperate. He tried to survive off what little food he could gather, roots, berries, the occasional rabbit. His final journal entries grew shorter, more fragmented. He wrote that he was very weak, that the end may be near. One of the last things he ever wrote was simple, almost peaceful. I have had a happy life, and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all. Then he placed a note on the bus door, written on a torn piece of paper. SOS, I need your help. I am injured, near death, and too weak to hike out of here. I am all alone. This is no joke. In the name of God, please remain to save me. He signed it, Chris McCandless. When moose hunters found his body in September, he had been dead for about 2 weeks. He weighed just 67 pounds. Beside him were his books, his journal, his camera, and one of the most haunting self-portraits ever taken. In it, Chris is standing outside the bus, holding up the note, smiling faintly. His eyes looked distant, but calm, like a man who had finally found something beyond fear. The official cause of death was starvation, but over time, theories emerged. Some say he accidentally poisoned himself by eating wild potato seeds that contained a toxic alkaloid. Others believe he simply starved because his food supply ran out. Either way, Bus 142 became a symbol of adventure, rebellion, idealism, and tragedy. People from all over the world hiked into the wilderness to find it, to see where he died, to feel what he felt. Some nearly died themselves trying. In 2020, the bus was finally airlifted out by the Alaska National Guard to prevent more deaths. It now sits in a museum, safe behind glass, a relic of one man's search for meaning. But here's the real mystery. Was Chris naive or enlightened? Was he a reckless boy who didn't understand nature's brutality? Or a visionary who saw through the noise of modern life and dared to live the truth others only talk about? Maybe both? Because in the end, the boy from Bus 142 didn't die just looking for death. He was on a quest for something real, something pure that went way beyond survival or comfort. He was chasing freedom, and in a strange way, he totally found it.